Now, here is a face we have not seen in so long appear on your screen, on my channel, and it's just been a while. I probably mentioned their name in passing, but I've been barely doing that. Now, don't get excited that violins are not playing, because no, he has not been put to death just yet. Of course, when that actually happens, we'll all know about that. But the reason why I'm making this video is, I was scrolling through my subscriptions, and I saw Lisa Cabrera was doing a video talking about Dylann Roof. And I was like, oh God, what are they about to talk about now? Now, of course, by now it hasn't premiered yet because she's doing it as a premiere video. But by the time you see my video about this, hers will already be up. And I said, okay, let me go to Google and type his name into the search. And there was an article posted on January 29th, 2020, which was 2 days ago because it's January 31st. And it says that Dylann Roof and his attorneys are appealing the conviction of the death sentence for the shooting that happened in South Carolina. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, really now? Like I said, this is the first time we've heard from him in such a long time. And now they want to appeal this. All I'm going to say is this: anybody with a sound mind better not, and I do mean they better not appeal this decision if they know what's good for them. And by that, I mean you do not want that problem on your hands, because you will have a lot of people in this establishment riled the fuck up if that appeal was to go through. Let me go ahead and read this article. White supremacist Dylann Roof, who was convicted of killing 9 worshipers at a black church in South Carolina, is appealing his conviction and death sentence. Roof and his lawyers filed the appeal Tuesday in the 4th U.S. Circuit Court of Appeals in Richmond, with his legal team saying he had been too mentally ill to stand trial or represent himself at his sentencing. Mind you, this is the same individual who planned this out 6 months in advance. He planned this shooting 6 months in advance, this terroristic act. He planned it 6 months in advance, half a year before he actually did it. He was going to go to a whole nother location before he went there. He said he thought about going to a black neighborhood, but he knew that he would get fucked up out there. So he went to a place with soft targets. He went in there, he sat there, listened to them speak, and then opened fire. That's not someone who's mentally ill. How did I know they was going to use that mentally ill card? Roof's crime was tragic, but this court can have no confidence in the jury's verdict. So basically what they're saying is the jury was off that day. They're basically trying to say that the jury should have came to a deadlock or a mistrial for this, or he should have been found guilty, but not for the death penalty. Because remember, at one point, South Carolina, I don't think had a hate crime law, or I don't know if they honored the death penalty or not, but they threw it in there, or they implemented it now because of what this was. They just couldn't deny it. His attorneys wrote a 321 page appeal, more like 321 pages filled with bullshit. The appeal described Roof as a 22-year-old 9th grade dropout diagnosed with schizophrenia spectrum disorder, autism, anxiety, and depression, who believed his sentence didn't matter because white nationalists would free him from prison after an impending race war. They also forgot to put in there he has a ugly ass haircut. He got taken to Burger King after he killed 9 people. But listen to that. Listen to this. Free him from prison after an impending race war. This is what he wanted. This is what he wanted. He said it himself. He said he wanted to start a race war. This was his plan the entire time. Unfortunately, his plan did not work. And he thought he was going to get free from prison had one actually kicked off. Mind you, this happened in 2015, now 5 years ago. And here we are 5 years later, and nothing of what he thought was going to pop off actually did. But he actually thought he was going to get free from this. He really thought that this was going to happen in his favor. And now, because it's not, now they want to file this appeal to get him off of death row. Roof was found guilty on 33 federal charges, including hate crimes resulting in death after he shot and killed 9 members of the Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church in Charleston in 2015. He was sentenced to death in 2017. Roof initially cooperated with his lawyers until they planned to argue he was developmentally disabled or mentally ill. He then decided to represent himself, but briefly reinstated lawyers for a portion of the trial before going back to representing himself again for the sentencing. And that's probably why he was found guilty. But I don't think that his lawyers could have really did that much anyway, because it was too heavy of a weight. Regardless, his experienced counsel, whom Roof jettisoned to prevent evidence of his mental illness from coming to light, told the court that in their decades of experience, none had represented a defendant so disconnected from reality. U.S. District Judge Richard Gergel, an Obama appointee, told Roof during the trial that he thought the decision to represent himself was strategically unwise, but said it was a decision that you have a right to make. Roof's lawyers argued in his appeal that a 2008 ruling, one that allows judges to force a lawyer on defendants lacking mental capacity, justifies their client's appeal. Well, that's his own damn fault. I forgot that he said he wanted to represent himself, and he actually did. When I heard that he actually did, I said, yeah, stick a fork in him. He is definitely done. The nail is in the coffin. He's not going to walk away from that, and he can't represent himself, especially now that they're claiming he has all these illnesses like schizophrenia and autism. Like, who would think to represent themselves in that manner when you have all of that stuff allegedly going on with you? But now they want to appeal his conviction with the death sentence. Like, I'm talking about, like, when you say appeal the conviction, are you trying to appeal the death portion of it, where it takes the death penalty off the table and he's just in jail for the rest of his life? Or are you trying to appeal the conviction altogether, where he's not in jail for the rest of his life and he gets time shaven off of his already serving off of his sentence, including time served? Because they didn't really go into detail with that. But I hope they completely negate this appeal, because he doesn't need it. What he does need, however, is the Jeffrey Dahmer treatment. And I mean someone that will actually finish the job this time, not to take anything away from the individual that put hands on him a few years ago, because we actually applauded him for that and rewarded him because they put money on his books and he was able to get out of jail. But I mean, really put some hands on him, on like what Christopher Scarver did back in the early 90s. Because Dylann Roof definitely deserves that for what he did. And his lawyers and attorneys are full of shit with this appeal. They can go sit the hell down somewhere. Now that means I'm going to have to look closely at this again in hopes that this damn appeal gets turned down. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. Like, share, subscribe. If you haven't done so already, please follow me on Twitter. Have your notifications turned on, and I will talk to you in the next one.